When you think about all the amazing tech in an electric car, the battery, the motors, it's pretty easy to overlook the tires. I mean, they're just black rubber circles, right? Well, it turns out they're one of the most highly engineered, most stressed out components on the entire vehicle. Today, we're going to break down the real difference between EV tires and regular tires, and why that humble-looking piece of rubber is so absolutely critical to how an EV actually performs.
So, let's just start with the really simple question. Why are electric cars so unbelievably hard on their tires? It sounds a little weird, but the very things that make an EV so incredible to drive are also what make it a tire's absolute worst nightmare.
And this all sets up what we can call the unexpected problem. An EV's greatest strengths, I'm talking about its massive weight, its whisper-quiet operation, and that instant neck-snapping power, these are the three big forces that are constantly at war with its tires.
Okay, let's start with the weight. This number right here, a little over 1,000 pounds. That's not the weight of the whole car. That's the weight of the battery pack in a Tesla Model 3 times alone. It's like having several extra adults in the car with you all the time. This constant heavy load puts this immense, crushing pressure on the tires, stressing their internal structure every single second they're on the road.
And then there's the torque. Now, a gas engine has to rev up to build power, right? An electric motor? Nope. It delivers 100% of its twisting force the instant you even think about touching the pedal. And what this does to the tire is just brutal. It's like hitting the tread with a sledgehammer at every single green light, creating these intense forces that can literally shred the rubber right off the surface.
And finally, there's the silence. In a regular gas car, you've got the rumble of the engine, the sound of the exhaust. All that noise masks a ton of other sounds. But in an EV, it's eerily quiet. So the only things you really hear are the wind rushing by and the tires. That constant hum and drone from the road, something you'd never noticed before, suddenly becomes the loudest sound in the cabin, which makes noise reduction a huge priority.
So you've got these huge challenges: weight, torque, and noise. How in the world do you solve for all that? Well, tire engineers basically had to throw out the old rulebook and write a completely new one. This next section is all about how the modern EV tire is specifically engineered to fight back.
And this table just lays it all out perfectly. To handle that crazy weight, EV tires need higher load ratings. You'll often see them marked XL for extra load. To survive that instant torque, they've got reinforced internal structures and much stronger rubber. To squeeze every last mile out of the battery, the rolling resistance is extremely low. And to keep things quiet inside, they've got specialized tread patterns and sometimes even acoustic foam glued to the inside.
Basically, engineers have this whole toolbox of tricks they use. They use stiffer sidewalls for more stability under load, advanced rubber compounds with silica to lower that friction without losing grip. They even use a literal ring of foam inside the tire to soak up sound waves. It's pretty amazing. And on top of all that, they design these unique tread patterns that are meant to stay quiet while still gripping like crazy under all that instant power.
So all this high-tech engineering has some very real-world consequences. Let's take a look at what all these differences actually mean for your wallet, for your car's driving range, and, believe it or not, for the planet.
First up, the cost. And this is a big one. Because of that intense wear from the weight and torque, EV tires often wear out fast. A lot of owners report having to replace them every 20, maybe 30,000 miles. That's almost twice as often as the tires on a similar gas-powered car.
And when you do have to replace them, you might get a little sticker shock. The special materials, that reinforced construction, all the advanced tech, it means EV-specific tires can cost anywhere from 20 to 50% more than a standard tire for a similar car.
But here's the flip side, and it's a huge deal: range. Choosing the right low-resistance EV tire can actually boost a vehicle's efficiency enough to add 5 to 10% to its total driving range. Now, for a car that gets 300 miles on a charge, that's an extra 15 to 30 miles. That can easily be the difference between making it to the next charger and getting stranded on the side of the road.
Now, there's a hidden environmental cost we need to talk about. As tires roll and wear down, they shed these tiny, microscopic fragments. They're called tire and road wear particles, or TRWPs for short. And because modern tires use synthetic polymers, plastics basically, these little particles are a huge source of microplastic pollution.
And the scale of this problem is just staggering. Some studies suggest that tire wear is one of the single biggest sources of microplastics in our oceans and rivers, way more than things we always hear about like plastic straws or bags. And since heavier EVs can wear out their tires faster, this is a major challenge the entire industry is trying to solve right now.
So where does tire technology even go from here? Well, that brings us to our final section, the tire of the future. And let me tell you, it might not look or act anything like the tires we're used to today.
You know, the pace of innovation is just speeding up like crazy. The first big breakthrough was back in 1992 when Michelin figured out how to use silica in tires, which dramatically cut down on rolling resistance. Now, in the 2020s, we've perfected that tech for dedicated EV tires. And the future? We're looking at a complete reinvention of the wheel itself.
So this right here is the peak of today's technology. It's this incredibly complex balancing act of materials and design. But honestly, this is just a stepping stone to something way more radical.
The next giant leap is almost certainly going to be the airless tire. So instead of being filled with pressurized air, these designs use this flexible spoke structure, kind of like a honeycomb, made from advanced materials. And the benefits are just mind-blowing. No more flats. Ever. Virtually zero maintenance. And a huge reduction in waste because you might only need to replace the outer tread, not the entire tire.
And at the same time, tires are getting a brain. The smart tire is basically going to be a rolling data center. It'll have embedded sensors tracking everything, wear, temperature, road grip, all in real time. And the data will feed directly into the car's main computer, which means more accurate range predictions, alerts that tell you when to get maintenance, and even adjusting the car's traction control on the fly based on the actual road conditions.
And that really leaves us with this final thought, and it's a powerful one. In the age of electric vehicles, the tire is no longer just this disposable piece of rubber you buy and forget about. It's becoming a critical, high-tech component that's just as integral to the car's performance as the battery and the motor. It's no longer an afterthought, it's actually part of the powertrain.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more How Meets History.